Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Recap. This is the show where I look at your comments from the last few episodes, or at least where I try to convince you that I actually read your comments, because I don't always get to respond. Lots of stuff at work going on, and yeah. Well, in any case, rest assured, I do look at your comments. I don't always get the chance to respond, and most of the time I do forget to respond, but I see your comments. So this is going to be a 2-for-1 recap episode because I actually forgot to do a recap on the previous episode. So we're going to do 151 and 152, two episodes at once. And I guess we might as well do that because in the last couple of episodes, I was working on the pergola, the actual physical structure. I was pretty much working out how I would like to populate it with plants. And we have decided to go vertical, and I even started placing down some hanging baskets, some hooks and hanging baskets. So if you haven't watched the last couple of episodes, that's pretty much what happened. And let's now have a look at the comments. So in episode 151, well, I'm sorry, the camera is down here. My screens are up there, so I hope that doesn't bother you. But in any case, let's open up episode 151. So 151 was about placing the hooks in position. That way, that would give me an idea of how far or how high I would have to build the ledges for my succulent planters. And 151, not a lot of comments here. And so I'll just pick a few here. So one comment here is from Puffin Bobby Possum Cuds saying, screw some galvanized chain along the length of the beam, each end, and obviously one or two in the middle. Then you can hook directly to the chain at a greater variation of spacing. Yeah, this sounds like a good idea, especially if I was going for smaller baskets. But in this case, I was going for larger baskets, so it might not necessarily work for those size. But I would definitely recommend this method if you are going with smaller baskets, because that would give you, as Puffin said, a greater variation of spacing. So you have a greater control of how much space is between plants. From Janet Northam, she says clamp on some channel lock and then just turn it. So this is in reference to how I was turning the screws, the hooks. I was turning them by hand. It was destroying my wrist. They were too hard. Channel lock are those clamp-like things, which I don't really have here. I'm not sure if they are even available in Australia, but they might be. I just don't know where to get them. And yeah, this seems like a good idea. But as always, we would have to do with what we have on hand, and I improvise. So as long as we manage to make it in the end, then everything's fine. From Wild Edibles, nice warm weather we are sitting in, negative 30 degrees Celsius right now. Yeah, that's cold. I can't imagine living in that temperature. Happy to be here. I'd love to see another professional succulent artist use gutters on her fence. Yeah, I responded that I am hesitant about attaching things to the fence because I am afraid that the additional load bearing on the fence might topple it down. So what I'm going to do is if I do want to use the fence, I am going to make use of the structure that I already made, the pergola, attach something to it, and then attach the plants onto whatever beam or ledge I latch onto the pergola. So I just don't want to place any load on the fence, but I generally like this idea about just placing gutters or planters or whatever. That way we could go vertical. From Scarlett, have you checked out metal hanging baskets with coconut liners? They are fairly inexpensive, and here they have small ones available at the Dollar Tree and Christmas Tree Shop. Plus they look more aesthetically pleasing. I definitely agree with using hanging baskets with coco liners, and if you've already watched the previous episode, then you know that I went with that option. So yeah, I went with the larger types, mainly because, well, I was definitely after the 30 centimeter baskets. They would be around this size, I think. But the problem is Bunnings were out of them, and I visited a couple of the Bunnings outlets that are nearby. There might be some further out, but I didn't want to drive at the time. It was raining and stuff. So yeah, I had to make do with the next size up, which turned out okay because they were quite big. I could only fit 3 of them side by side, and I had to go with, in the next, you would see this in episode 152. I had to stagger them in a 3 and 2 arrangement, but yeah, it worked out. I have 5 of those 35 centimeter ones, and I might hold off and find smaller ones to fill out the rest of the hooks, and that might, at least that variation would give me some, I don't know, would provide a lot more points of interest in the hanging part of the garden. So yeah, we'll see. That would come at a much later date. So yeah, we won't think about that for now. And my pinned comment was saying that I am thinking of hanging some sedums and graptopetalums in those baskets. I just need to find the right baskets. And I was asking people what sort of plants they would like to see hanging up in there, and a bunch of people responded. One is from Kelinda Succulenta, saying, "Oh, that would be beautiful. You are always a source of inspiration. Blessings to you and your family." Thank you so much. Another is from Eric. Eric was saying that, what about wire hanging baskets? They'd be lightweight, about the weight of the soil and plants, and lined with either sphagnum moss or landscape fabric. Then you could have the plants coming out from the bottom, sides, and top. So again, as you would see in the next episode, this is what I ended up doing. They are wire baskets lined with cocoa fiber. I'm not sure what they're called. Well, yeah. So those are actually all of the comments in that episode 151. Now let's move over to 152. 152 is where I plan out my succulent gutters made out of timber, and the title is that because I had to purchase the baskets just to see how low, or what the upper and the lower bounds are for my gutters, for the ledges. And let's start with my pinned comment. The pinned comment was, "I need ideas on how I should line the bottom of the timber plants. And do you have any suggestion on how I should make them?" So we've got a response from Zany66 saying that her partner lined the bottom of a pallet garden trough thingy with a shade cloth, and she doubled it over with a couple of times so it would hold together. Okay, so folding it at half, just to create a stronger layer, stronger base. The pallet has warped a lot in the year I've had it, which does worry me because I just throw my succulent leaves in it, but it might be annoying. It was a design feature. And I responded with, "That's a good idea. Maybe I could drive some timber supports in intervals." So if you could imagine that this is the trough, I would add some beams, perpendicular to the trough. That way there would be a bit of support and not just relying on the landscape fabric or whatever lining material I use. From Jessica Marie Florentino, "Happy with the shout out. I'm a member of the group here in the Philippines. God bless po." This is a reference to my shout out that I made at the start of the video. Now, before we go further, I would like to give a shout out to my friends over at the Succulent Club of the Philippines. They recently invited me to join their group, and I hope you enjoy this video. So hello again to the Succulent Club Philippines. I'll see you in the forums. From Zainazana66, I do 135, 24, 24, 135, but that's me. Looks like you have a good breeze blowing there. It's good to see your garden developing another dimension, and I hope the birds enjoy their new bath. Yeah, I think the arrangement that Zana mentioned might work, because that means that in the center there would just be 2, 4. You would imagine the position 2 and 4. What that means is that in the center there would be a lot more gaps that would let a lot more light shine through, and that is important because the plants that are sitting in the pergola are mostly echeveria and they need lots of light. So this suggestion I really like. From Carmela Chavez, "This project is going to be very good. I can't wait to see it finish. Great idea, Chuck." From Carolina Riguera, "Hey Chuck, I missed episodes where you show more of your plants and teach some tricks on how to cultivate them." Yeah, So I made a response here, and let me just read it out because it's quite long. But yeah, it's quite long. To summarize, what I basically said was that during the milder seasons, I do I do a lot more recording during the milder seasons. That would be the transitional seasons, spring and autumn, and maybe even during winter. During summer, I don't really like going out to record because it's really hot. We are still getting the heat wave. So yeah, if I am only allowed to work on one video for a week or at the time, then I would definitely work on a Let's Plant vlog because I enjoy doing these things, man. But rest assured, I'll be putting out a lot of educational content in the next few weeks because you know what? Summer is about to end here in Australia, and the last month of summer is February. March is the start of autumn, and somewhere around maybe 2 weeks in or halfway in autumn, it would be quite cold. So, you know, I would be able to do a lot more gardening by then, or at least a lot more videos. From Scarlett, great choice on those hanging baskets. So this is in reference to her previous comment in the previous episode. So yeah, prophecy fulfilled. She suggests that I could probably plant some orchid cactus like Queen of the Night. They would look great trailing down and have great big blooms. And if I'm going with timber planters, I should not forget to line the inside with plastic because watering may warp the wood a lot sooner. So yeah, I agree. I would need to seal the timber somehow or put a liner that would prevent water from pooling, from settling down. So yeah, I agree. From Rose Eshi, we have to use zip ties on our baskets because the materials tends to sag. Yeah, this is a good tip. I noticed that some of my coco liners, some of them are sagging and some of them are a bit destroyed, mainly because the birds were picking them apart, probably building their nest out of it. So yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I might have to tie them a bit with zip ties. Good idea. From Jessica Hiromi, what happened to your Aeonium sunburst? This sunburst. Yep. I I showed it in a few episodes before, but short answer is that it got hit by the heat waves. It lost, well, a lot of the leaves got burnt and I removed them. And it's dormant right now, so the additional stress that it is facing is causing it to lose a lot of the leaves. But rest assured, when the colder seasons come, it would start growing again and new offsets, new pops would come out of the stem. So I'm just leaving it somewhere protected, which right now is under the alfresco, no, under the pergola, since it has shade cloth on top. So yeah, hopefully by autumn and by winter, it starts pushing out pops and I could separate those pops and replant them. Because the parent plant, it's getting quite saggy anyway, it won't be strong enough to support itself in the near future. So we might as well start the new generation. And finally, from Linda Leal, another interesting video. Your pergola project is coming along nicely. You have an amazing display of plants next to your kids' play area. Thanks again for inspiring me to grow succulents. My collection may not be as beautiful as your outdoor display, but still a pleasure to grow and care for. I have enjoyed seeing your hybrid plants. First off, thank you so much for your kind words, and I'm happy that you are inspired to grow succulents. About your last point about seeing the hybrid plants, I might do a feature on them at some point, but not yet right now. They are still quite small, and yeah, some of them are drying out, some of them have rotted, but there are a good at least 2/3 that are still alive, and they're growing a lot slowly. So I'm still finding the right environment for them. But where they are right now, my metal shelves, so keeping them in a lower layer where they can get protected by the plants on top of them, seems to be doing fine. So yeah, we'll see, and hopefully I do not have to worry about them this winter, because winter would be a deadly blow for them if they freeze, especially since they are so young. That reminds me, I do have the grow lights from Mars Hydro. I should probably take it out soon. Yeah. And that's it for this recap. It is Friday night. I actually got off work really late because I'm working from home today, and most of the time today I've been busy with appointments and family stuff. So yeah, I usually have lots of breaks in between, which pushes out my work day really late on a Friday, which I don't really mind because working from home, I'm a homebody. So, yeah, it really works for me. In the next episodes of Let's Plant, I am hoping that the next episode would be the final part of the build of the pergola, because the next episode I'm going to finalize my plans for how I am going to build the ledges. I might be buying some materials this weekend, and I will have Saturday and Sunday to work on my stuff. And that means a whole lot of videos, a whole lot of footage to work with. So yeah. I'm not sure if I would want to split them into 2 episodes, but I think one would be enough, one long episode, because it's just a single topic, and I do not like to split one topic into 2 videos. That would be weird. But in any case, look out for that video. I'll see you then. Bye.